Done.
Yeah.
Whoa, I wasn't ready.
Oh, I said you ready.
You got to be ready.
Welcome
was
to
ready.
Numbers called.
Throwing a flag.
No, already? Man, that's early in the game.
That's not a false start.
Oh, okay.
Now, Holden,
Mm.
how's you guys' week doing?
Keep him busy. That's about the way
Yeah.
it goes.
Busy, getting up early every day. It's a motherfucker sometimes. But tomorrow's Wednesday, so that is kind of a plus.
Yeah. We're closer to another football weekend.
Yes, that is true.
Sounds electrifying.
How about you, Trenches?
Yeah.
Good. Just, working, planning a trip maybe. A bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's great? I love bye weeks because to me, and this maybe I'm the only one here, you watch other games, of course, even though your team plays. But all day long, like if you're the night game, you're watching other games, but you're thinking about your game. You're getting ready for it. You're reading shit. You're whatever you do. Or if you go to the game, then obviously you're going to miss out on all these other football games. So when a bye week comes around, it's a special week. It also depends when your bye week is. And my Tennessee's bye week is at a perfect time because one of my favorite rivalries is being played this week, and that's the Red River rivalry. I know we're going to get into that here in a little bit, but I'm saying I love it. I love this bye week because I can sit back, relax. I can watch college football all fucking day long and just, whatever. I love it.
Don't worry about your team losing, right?
Well, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying the whole stress that goes into a game, Right. Or if your game happens to be at the same time, there's a big matchup, you miss that matchup.
Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but if Georgia's playing a team, I don't care if it was week 1 UT Martin, and over here, or let's say week 2, the Ball State, right? Week 2's, and you also, the same time, you got Alabama, Texas. I'm not changing that channel during commercials just in case something happens.
Same.
Yeah.
And Carter's right. Now, with having a bye week, you get to enjoy whatever the hell you want. You don't have to miss any plays.
I'm thinking about putting all the TVs in our house in one room,
Mm-hmm.
and taking the computers and just having some crazy split screen shit going on,
Dude, have y'all been seeing the videos of these guys who are deep in? It's mostly NFL fans because they have all the NFL Network, all this other shit.
Yeah.
But they'll take the 5 TVs or 6 TVs and make this huge mega TV out of it.
Yeah.
I always watch that. Oh, it's crazy awesome. But I watch it and I'm I'd fuck that up in a heartbeat. Because the moment I put the second one next to it, there's gonna be a 4-inch gap.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna be lopsided. I'm that. I don't know how the fuck they do that shit.
They all have to be connected, I know, in some way for it to work. But
yeah. Well, we had a crazy week 5.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go over a couple of these games. What's up, Maddie? And if there's any y'all want to stop and talk about a little bit more, we can. Starting off with, and all these are just the ranked games. We had Louisville versus North Carolina. Louisville squeaks by North Carolina State squeaks by 13-10.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's a good win for Louisville. They're only 25. They're a young team. 3 points.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't think it would be this close, but in some states, they're that kind of team. Though they've been able to play people close year in, year out.
Louisville's always. I think our former colleague Crane just said it once. Louisville was what did he say? They're Thursday night U. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is one that happened Friday that confused the shit out of me, but I guess we were all just wrong. Oregon State beats Utah 21-7.
Yeah.
Did Utah just slip up, or is Oregon State a real contender?
Oh, in the Pac-12, man, I the way they're playing at times, they could be a real deal contender, man. Like, call me crazy, but watch out for them Beavers, baby.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the Pac-12 is so loaded though right now. Like they're probably the deepest in the top 25 out of all the divisions and conferences. But is Louisville or not Louisville? Is Oregon State even top 5 in the Pac-12 right now?
Well, I mean, let's see.
Because you got what? Oregon, USC.
And that'll be the last game of the year.
They're fifth. They're 4-1. So.
Yeah.
I can tell you this much: the rate that these teams are going, like the Civil War, is going to be a freaking huge matchup, dude.
Oh yeah. And Crandis did make a good point. There was no Cam Rising in that game. He's still dealing with his injury. I think he's going to be back in the next 2 weeks. He's got to, right? Because they've been toying around with, is he going to start for 4 weeks now?
Yeah, since the season started.
Yeah. If Lad McConkey can get his tiny ass on the field, Cam Rising can.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finally made his return, didn't he?
He did. We'll get to that game in a minute. He definitely saved us on the third downs.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, Penn State takes care of business on the road at Northwestern, 41-13. I mean, Penn State's a real school. Between, Michigan,
Ohio State,
and Penn State, I really don't know who's ahead right now. I mean, I guess you could say Michigan, but they've even had times where J.J. McCarthy's thrown, multiple interceptions. They haven't looked legit. Penn State just keeps trucking, running Singletary right at the middle and just right down your throat every game.
Yeah. I
know what you're doing there, Carter. You're planning your trip after your game?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Big SEC shootout. I know I was happy with this one. I'm guessing Carter was happy with this one. Kentucky beats the living hell out of Florida 33-14. Roy Davis has a field day. I think 280-something yards just right down at their throat. Right up. Like, I don't even think he bounced outside, but a couple times. It was straight up the middle every play. Mm-hmm. And Florida had no answer. Etienne couldn't get going. Graham Mertz wasn't doing anything. That was all Kentucky. Mark Stoops is owning the state of Florida.
Yep.
He's got this team going in the right direction.
But this is what Kentucky does.
They can at least compete, that they're not going to just get run over by people.
Mm-hmm. This is what they do every year. This is what's so sad about it, is every year. I mean, they beat Florida 3 years in a row now. And
who's the last coach to do it in Kentucky?
Well, I know that. I'm not saying that, but
some people out here might not know.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but I'm saying the thing is that what Kentucky does every year is they will start off like 7. I think one year they were like 8-0, in 2018 or something. And then they have like that stretch. Last year it was like it started with Mississippi State. They lost a game to Mississippi State they shouldn't have lost, and then it was like a snowball effect. They ended up losing 3 straight games. The year before that, it was the same kind of deal. They started off hot. They would drop like 3 or 4 games in a row. So what I'm getting to is I feel like that same damn thing is fixing to happen, because guess what? Kentucky has to go to Georgia. Then they got a big game against Missouri. And, after that, they still got to play. I think they get a break with Vanderbilt. And then we play them. But so what I'm saying is we'll see Saturday if this is a for real Kentucky team or not. If they go out and beat Georgia in Athens, then okay, Georgia's going to win or Kentucky's probably fixing to win the East for the very first time. But I just feel like the problem is, yes, they got a great running back, but they're so one-dimensional. If you watch their game against Eastern Kentucky and some of the beginning of the year, they can't throw the ball for shit. They can run the ball.
You got no faith in Leary, is what you're saying.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I just don't. If Georgia's defense is really good, and Georgia's going to stack that box, they're going to make Leary beat them.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he can do it. But I know we're still on week 5, so I'll just shut up.
Real quick, in that game, do you know how many pass completions Leary had?
I have no idea. 9.
Whole game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm with you, but my we'll get to that game. But Georgia's having a rough time with that run attack.
Yeah, I mean they allowed over 200 yards.
All quarterback.
Auburn, and so
yeah. Let me ask you this, Hoss. A little trivia question for you. Did you know that Florida has their own streak right now? Like, you know how Georgia's got their win streak going? Florida's got a streak. Do you know when the last time they won an SEC away game was?
Oh, wow. 2018?
No, sooner than that, but it's still
2020,
shocking. COVID year, 2020. 3 years since they've won an SEC away game.
I think it was against Tennessee, too.
Yeah, I think it was. But, dude, I'm with Carter. I know we talked about this before Tennessee played Florida. If it's not in the swamp, like the swamp, they're golden. They have their own little voodoo going in there. Besides that, they are just a trash program.
They're almost like a basketball school at this point. Play good at home, play bad on the road.
Yep. All right. Another ranked game, we had USC and Colorado.
Oh shit. That one I was starting to bite my fingernails like, damn. Okay, at first, at halftime you're like, sorry, Dion, and then you start looking and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Colorado battled back, man.
They did.
Have to give it to them. I mean,
I give it to them for not quitting, but I think USC definitely took the foot off the gas.
Sure they did.
Yeah,
who wouldn't at that point?
Almost bit him in the ass. This game was like going into the third quarter, even part of the fourth quarter. The score is a lot closer than this game actually looked. You could tell it was just too much skill versus not enough the whole game.
Yeah.
At that point, when it was getting, when they were like a touchdown down, I kind of wanted to see them come back and beat USC just because of the way USC, like you said, took their foot off the gas. At that point, I was like, okay, I want to see USC lose now since Colorado's battled all the way back.
Right. Let's see here. Crane just says, but they haven't been good in basketball in a minute either. Yeah, he's saying like they're only good at home like basketball teams.
Like basketball teams.
Yeah.
Like, how in basketball, like, playing at home is everything. Mm-hmm. Home court advantage really matters in basketball.
All right, next ranked game. Deep South's oldest rivalry. Georgia goes to Auburn.
That was a shocking outcome. I mean, Georgia won. I think everybody assumed that. It's just not the way we thought. Would you say, Hoss?
Yeah, I mean, Auburn they got a little bit of a lead on you, and I was like, the only problem, they just kept giving Georgia hope as far as like not being able to widen that gap enough, and you can't do that against Georgia. They're going to come back and they're going to put points up. Brock Bowers is a big reason for that.
Yeah,
and that's what happened.
You need the knockout blow against Georgia. Here, so I watched the game again after everything, and there's two things I take away from this game.
Okay.
Carson looked poised. He threw a pick, but he came back. I was super impressed with how he played. We know Brock Bowers is Brock Bowers. But watching the game back, so the score was 27-20. How many points y'all think Auburn got on their own out of that 20?
I have no idea.
6 points.
Jesus.
The rest of it all came off Georgia turnovers. Georgia is shooting themselves in the foot time and time again, week in and week out.
Yeah.
And it's going to kill them. Somebody's going to catch them. It could be Kentucky this week. It could it could be an Ole Miss. But if they
have a slow start, Kentucky could take advantage of that.
I'm not even worried about, like, you get, Georgia fans constantly are talking about the slow starts. Why can't we get it going in the first? I don't even give a shit. Just stop turning the ball over. We are having fumbles almost every game. And it's starting to get to where, like I said, Auburn's capitalizing on it. The right team capitalizes on it. You can't come back from that.
You said it before the season started.
Mm-hmm.
You said you your only concern offensively was your running game.
Yep.
And that's where the fumbles are coming from, weren't they?
Yep. Well, you had one. All right, so there was 3 fumbles. One was a muff punt from Muse, but he picked it up. You had a fumble from Dejon Edwards, the running back, and then one was kind of like our second string tight end Oscar Delp. He caught it and they knocked it out of his hand. But he's also sophomore, 3 games experience. There's so many injuries on this and not enough experience that it's just going to keep happening. I don't know what to do as far as a coach. That's probably why I don't get paid to be a coach. But the fumbles, the turnovers, and the inconsistent with the O-line is what is killing this team slowly.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of comments, guys.
Yeah, all right.
Kentucky will be a challenge for sure. Unk said Kentucky has one of the best running backs. Yeah, they do have one of the best running backs I see.
Roy Davis, yeah.
The problem is they're very one-dimensional, which sometimes that's either way. I'm just saying they. I feel like Georgia. I think. Let me see who said it. Yeah, Big Valdez said bullshit. Georgia will destroy UK. I agree. I think. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Georgia covers the spread. Actually goes over it.
That'll be a first.
Yeah, I know it would be, but I think they will. Crandy said almost always have to look him up to remember his name. We're talking about Lincoln Riley. Is that who you're talking about?
So here's the thing with Kentucky, right? Because I know I'll keep saying, Kentucky's most efficient run offense in the country. They are.
But they ain't playing no fucking mighty.
Well, everybody who's exposing Georgia's running game, which UAB did it a little bit, and then Auburn definitely did it, it's outside the tackles. Roy Davis goes right up the middle. Georgia has not been challenged between the tackles at all this year. So that's going to be the most interesting thing to see because Roy won't bounce out. He's going to go straight through. How good is our defensive line? We're going to find out this week. Is it safe to say Edwards is our best running back? It's between him and Bell. Branson's hurt, and I have no faith in Milton. All right. Next game, Kansas just gets destroyed by Texas. Did anybody not see this shit coming?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas has been they definitely look strong this week. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Once again, another ass whooping. Michigan goes to Nebraska, beats them 45-7. I don't think there's really much to talk about there.
No.
Missouri still undefeated. They beat Vanderbilt 38-21.
I got a feeling that's coming to an end too. I'm making a bold prediction, Cotton. At the end of week 6, there will only be one undefeated SEC team. I think LSU. Well, okay, maybe not.
Because 2 of them are playing each other.
Well, that's true. I think LSU will handle Missouri. They're coming off a loss. They're going to be pissed the fuck off. I think LSU's too much. I mean, Missouri, once again, they're another team that really hasn't played anybody of note yet. And I think they're going to get a taste of that Saturday. I know they beat Kansas State. But Kansas State's kind of looking like they're on the struggle bus this year. Either way, I think LSU's going to, do what LSU does, and I think they'll beat them. It may be close, but anyway, I think there'll only be one undefeated team to do this.
Let me tell you what Kansas State does have that LSU don't. A defense. They just lost 55-49. That was the saddest excuse of a defense. Like, I know Haas and you, Carter, were both sitting there going, where is this fucking high school 7-on-7? This is the dumbest game I've ever seen. Missouri, I still think, beats LSU. I know it's a rough challenge for them. I got zero faith in LSU.
I get it. I don't think Missouri's.
Ole Miss had over 700 yards of
that's
offense.
sad.
That's fine, but I don't think Missouri's that. I'm just saying Missouri's. If Missouri beats LSU, then I'm gonna be like, okay, there's something. It's crazy to see teams like Missouri, who average, I think, a recruiting class every year in the 50s, and they're going to beat a LSU who's averaging a top 10 class for the last 7-8 years. Is that coaching? What is that?
Here's my thing. Going into this year, we knew LSU's biggest deficiency was their secondary. And they had to go out and get all these transfer portals to try to make it work. But they have zero cohesion with each other, and now it's starting to get exposed. Brady Cook has already thrown for almost 1,500 yards. Missouri has a passing game. I'm just saying, do not be surprised if LSU goes down.
I won't be surprised, but I just think you're right. LSU's secondary is suspect. But this is going to be the best offense Missouri's seen thus far, without a doubt.
Okay.
I think as much as you're saying about LSU's defense, Missouri's is about the same. You know, I think it's going to be another high-scoring game. We'll see. We're jumping ahead. We need to.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep focusing. All right. Oregon beats the shit out of Stanford 42-6. We ain't even got to touch on it. Same as Oklahoma beating Iowa State 50-20. That Red River is going to be crazy.
Yep.
Then we got the Super Bowl of all Super Bowls.
I'm going to Disney World. I got my tickets for Epcot Center today.
Some reason Tennessee plays Georgia every year, Alabama every year, but South Carolina is their fucking Super Bowl.
It's our Super Bowl.
Yeah. Tennessee handles business at home 41-20.
That's my KG. Sorry.
No, you're good. All right, so let me ask you something. Milton, I think he had, 2 picks in the game?
Yes.
But is he starting to look more comfortable? Is it something you're still just like, wait and see kind of situation?
I mean, one of those picks was definitely just god awful. One of them was like a 50-50 ball. It really wasn't Milton. We had a really good run game, and we've got 3 great running backs. Like, we got a 3-headed monster at running back. But look, beating South Carolina is not something to beat your chest about. It's never been something. The only time that I felt like, or the only time that I've ever been excited about South Carolina, beating South Carolina, was back in 2013 when Steve Spurrier was coaching them, and they were like a top 10 team, and they were somebody that you wanted to beat. Historically, no, but during that time, they'd beaten Clemson 5 years in a row or whatever it was. But the shit that Spencer Rattler said at the end of the game, that's why, if anybody's out there that's watching this whole Super Bowl thing, it wasn't Tennessee that said it was the Super Bowl. It was Spencer Rattler said at the end of in his press conference that he said, referring to Tennessee, he's like, they executed good. It was their Super Bowl tonight, so good for them. South Carolina ain't a Super Bowl win for Tennessee or anybody in the SEC.
This idiot really hasn't grown up one bit. He hasn't matured 1 cent since QB1.
No. Oh, my God. I'm so glad you brought that up. I hated his little ass back then.
Me too.
Like, that's the only joy of beating South Carolina is beating that little smart mouth son of a bitch. Like, God, he's an annoying little turd. And, but yeah, the QB1, and if you remember at the end of QB1, he got in trouble. You remember that?
It was something to do with Twitter or messages or some shit he did wrong.
Yeah, running his mouth, like always. He said that was our Super Bowl. However, last year when they beat Tennessee, he was getting Gatorade bath, smoking cigars. They tore the goalpost down. So nothing like that quite happened.
If you're gonna talk trash, you got to be able to back it up.
Yeah. QB1 was a show on Netflix where they follow. I think the first year was Tate Martell, Jake Fromm, and somebody else. Year 2 was Spencer. Was it Fields in that one? Justin Fields.
I thought Rattler was year 3. There was 3.
He might have been. There's a gap between them all, but it's
there was a Georgia quarterback every fucking year. I can promise you.
Who was the third one? It was Eason.
Okay, maybe there was 2, but either way, it seemed like every year it was a fucking Georgia QB, and then they had one kid that ended up going to Kentucky, but I think he ended up transferring or something. And then they had that one black quarterback that was down in Louisiana, and I think he went to hell, I think it went to Arizona State or something crazy. But it was a really good show they did. I mean, it was following these high school quarterbacks that had a lot of praise. They were, like Elite 11 status and
Yeah.
pretty cool. But Spencer Rattler was last season, and man, he was just a little shit. I mean, just a spoiled little shit. And
Yeah, there was only 2 quarterbacks on that whole show. You were kind of, they were showing you to hate, and it was him and Tate Martell. And guess what? Both of them just jumped around from team to team like it's nothing.
Yeah, that's right, Tate Martell.
Yeah.
But anyway, Spencer Rattler, it was nice to beat him, and here's the last video I seen of Spencer Rattler.
What a great day to be a hoe.
Ending off the night, we had a great one to watch. I think we all watched it kind of in here. We had Alabama beats Mississippi State 40-17. Alabama is catching stride.
Yeah, I mean it definitely wasn't. I still have questions going into this A&M game, but as a team, they did seem to play a little bit better. And Milroe, he had 2 rushing TDs, but still, I mean, he's 10 of 12, 164 yards. So, I mean, no turnovers this time from him. So that's an improvement, I would say.
Yeah, I had somebody tell me, it's like, well, how are they getting any better? It's just Mississippi State. And I was like, do you not remember the South Florida game a few weeks ago? Compare South Florida to Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
It's night and day.
Yeah, of course.
And those cowbells were affecting play, at least earlier in the game. So
I think that should be illegal, if I'm being honest. And we never even have to play Mississippi State, but you're literally making your own noise.
Yeah.
Artificial noisemakers.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to limit when they do it, but I mean, what are they going to do? They got a stadium full of people with cowbells. You're going to take them all away? I mean, come on.
Good luck.
But yeah, still penalties an issue. Six penalties, 40 yards. I mean, I don't like to have any penalties or a minimal amount. And I think over 5 is still a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing I was kind of impressed with Carson, was there was no false starts in Jordan Hare. I was like, okay, that's a first. But no, the penalties have definitely cleaned up a lot for Bama since last year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, week 6. A lot of good games in week 6. It's like the first 3 weeks were dog shit, then it picked up quick. I'm going to actually kind of jump around from the times here. So I'm going to start out with an 8 o'clock game. This one's one to keep an eye on. Georgia Tech at Miami. Both teams are dog shit. So we're going to figure out which one can really win a game.
Yeah. I mean, Miami wants to beat their chest, but I mean, really, what have they done so far?
The A&M win was big. I'll give them credit for that. But that Jimbo's just fucking sucks. In all seriousness, does anybody think that they have any trouble with Georgia Tech?
Hell to the no.
Yeah. Georgia Tech, man, they just don't seem to be making that upward trend.
Poor Georgia Tech.
I'm just ready to start seeing the centers down in South Miami lose. You know what I mean? That's all I care about.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that. We're talking about Miami, Georgia Tech, but guess what? After that, shit is about to get real for the Hurricanes, because the following week they travel to North Carolina. Then they come home to take on Clemson. All right. They get a break with Virginia. All right. But then they get the Wolfpack, and then it's the Seminoles. So if Miami can find a way, that's a tough stretch, because I know Clemson's not Clemson this year, but that's still going to be a tough game. So, but if Miami can beat North Carolina, beat Clemson, I think they'll roll Virginia, and then they'll probably beat NC State. But it would be something to see an undefeated Florida State, undefeated Miami game. Like, holy shit, that would be huge.
If I had to put money on it, I think you will. I think Sark's got a good thing rolling right now with this Miami team that he's built. I think Florida State catches them. I think Florida State's a better team right now, but I think Miami might be able to squeak past North Carolina and then run the table till they get to Florida State.
Ranger says FSU will whip Miami's ass.
They might. But
Yeah.
Here's my thing. It looks like Florida State looks like they're playing better. Miami looks like they're more physical.
Kane Shades Unk says Miami opens this game as a 16-point favorite. It should be more than that.
Yeah, really.
Florida State lost to Bowling Green.
Yeah, I think if I was allowed to bet in the state of Florida, I'd definitely eat that 16 points up. All right. Up next, let's go to an SEC matchup. Arkansas at Mississippi. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss will beat them by 30. Well, Arkansas is a bad team this year. The KJ Jefferson hype is,
I want to see what the spreads are.
I mean,
after this win against LSU's kind of been that one of those teams other than Bama that Ole Miss could not beat. And they finally were able to overcome that this year. So I feel they got a lot of confidence going into this Arkansas game. So
let's play a game here. What do y'all think the spread is for this game?
16.5.
Okay, Hoss.
I'll go 21.
Would it shock you if I told you it's 11.5?
Yeah, put money on
Yeah,
that.
that would actually.
Now, look, Vegas is almost undefeated, right? They always find something. They called it with the Georgia Auburn. They've called it all year. Do you think it's because they have more faith in Arkansas secondary than LSU's?
I think it's just one of those things. Like, I think they look at Ole Miss like Ole Miss can get up for certain games, but they can also let down. I don't know. I mean, Arkansas is a bad team this year, but I could see them pulling off an upset or keeping it close just because it's Arkansas and it's Ole Miss. I don't know. Like, those teams have been playing each other every year since '92, but I don't know who's won more. I'm sure Arkansas has, but
So we're all taking Ole Miss, though, right?
oh, fuck yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would take Ole Miss. I think that's the safe play.
All right. Up next, we got Notre Dame at Louisville. That's number 25 versus, God, what's Notre Dame now? 10.
Louisville, they're coming off a loss.
No, they barely squeaked by NC State.
Okay. Hey, that could be so. That could be a game right there.
You think so?
It could be. Could.
I think Louisville's going to get it done.
Yeah.
All right. Now, once again, what do y'all think the spread is?
Notre Dame by 8.
8.
10.
Both of y'all need to get your paychecks out and put your money on Louisville right now to cover because it's 18.
God
Wow.
damn.
They got Notre Dame winning by 18 points.
Some bitch.
Maddie says, I thin Louisville is fraudulent. Notre Dame.
Okay. Well, I think they are too. All right. Washington State at UCLA.
Washington State on the road. Yeah, I'll take Washington State.
Washington State, yeah.
I'm with you.
I still think
definitely
UCLA
still-
might be favored, though.
You think so?
It could be. It's at the Rose Bowl.
All right.
I think they're favored. They're favored by like 3 points, 2 points.
Okay. Toss.
Oh, how many points?
Who you think's favored, and what do you think the spread is?
I think Washington State's favored by at least 8. I don't know.
All right. Carter gets the points. It's 3.5 point spread, Washington State.
Wow.
Oh, flag on the play.
Another flag. That's the second so far.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. No, there's no flag on the play.
So, call his ass out, Hoss. I love it.
It fell out of my pocket, bro.
Okay. Make sure nobody's paying the refs here.
All right. This is a game every year. We're going to get into this one kind of heavy here. Alabama at A&M. Before we get into it, let's do the spread off the bat. What is the spread on this game, Carter?
I believe Alabama probably about 11.
11. Hoss?
I'm gonna say I'll say Alabama, but probably 6.
6.
Hey, watch it, Prentice.
I'm with Vegas on this one. I think it's going to be a close game. Bama's favored by 2.5.
God damn.
Yeah. And here's why. Here's why I say that. Bama is really fucking good on defense at stopping the run.
That's true.
Yeah.
Texas A&M don't run the ball.
Oh,
I think Bama's offense will eventually just wear them out and win this game. Even, and it's rough to win in 12th man. We all know that. Kyle Fields, no joke. It's the same as Jordan Hare. I still think Bama takes it, but it is going to be a close game, I think.
Yeah. And I said, when I did my prediction video before the season started, this was the game that I thought we might slip up and lose. Would be bad to do that now since we've already got a loss against Texas. Yeah. But yeah,
that's what you meant when you made your video.
Yeah. But Max Johnson, I mean, he's been doing pretty good, and Le'Veon Moss is another part of their offense rushing, and he's we're gonna have some things we got to stop to keep them from getting the upper hand, but really being disciplined and not shooting ourselves in the foot with these penalties, that would be the biggest thing. But yeah, we just got to have faith in Milroe that he's going to lead the team and get that W.
It's in a hostile environment. I think Alabama's going to win this game. I think we're finally going to see Texas A&M's backup quarterback finally look like a backup quarterback in this game. I think the defense is going to rattle him. If this was in Tuscaloosa, I don't even think this would even be fucking close. But it is Kyle Field, Aggie land, but I still think Alabama wins. I'm not going to say handed, but I think they win by an easy 10 to 13 points because, like I said, I really think we're going to finally see their backup quarterback look like a damn backup quarterback.
You could very well be right. I'm just, like I said, I'm sticking with Bama to win it. The only reason I think it's close is, like you said, man, Kyle Field.
Yeah.
Well, is that the roughest environment that Milroe's had to start at?
I would say so thus far.
And that was my worry with Carson last week.
And the past few years, it's been a close game, whether we've been at home or away. So,
hey, remember this though. Milroe has experience beating A&M because when Bryce got hurt last year, Milroe had to start that game, and he did a damn good job beating Texas A&M. That's what I should say though. Flag on the play though. It was in Tuscaloosa.
All right, so we all got Bama in that one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, 7 o'clock game, number 20, Kentucky travels to Athens. Let's take on the Bulldogs. What is the spread on this game?
Gotta be like 16. Georgia.
16? Okay.
Gotta be.
I'm going to say 10.
10. Carter still gets his 14.5. I don't understand this spread.
I do.
I get why. Look, I get it. I am jumping the gun on Kentucky because, when it's your team playing a ranked team, you always think, okay, this could be the one. I get that whole factor. Georgia hasn't covered once. We just played Auburn, only beat them by 7. We didn't even beat South Carolina by 14.5. Why the fuck now are we going to cover against a ranked opponent?
Right.
And South Carolina was at Georgia before y'all use that excuse.
I get that.
Until I see it, I don't see us as a covering team. I think we're a decent, good team. I don't think we're a team that can cover.
So then y'all are going to win by. See, if you win by 14, you still don't cover.
No, exactly.
I've always hated that half shit. That's just Vegas's way of getting themselves more money, you know.
Yeah. Now this game started. I remember because I was watching a Georgia YouTube channel, and I don't know if you guys follow the is it Outside the Lines. He pretty much breaks down the X's and O's. But this game started at 9.5.
Yeah, and everybody put their money. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of wish I'd have taken it at 9.5 because now I feel like Vegas knew something I don't know. Well, why do I keep saying I wish I'd have took it? Fuck Florida. I can't bet in this damn state.
Too bad you don't know a friend.
Saying Kentucky, though,
I might talk to you.
Does pull the upset.
I mean, you know this as well as I do, Hoss. All good streaks have to end. I mean, if it's time for it to end, it's time for it to end. But at that point, Georgia just has to sit back and hope Kentucky loses too, which I don't think they will. Unless Tennessee and Missouri can catch them.
I don't worry about Kentucky.
Okay, unless Missouri can catch them.
I'm telling you, we beat Kentucky. We don't lose to Kentucky.
All right.
There's always could be changes. You never know.
I'm just saying, like in 2018, they were like a top 10 team, and we were terrible. We still beat them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think here's my worry with Georgia. Not in this game, but in long term as well. We can lean pretty heavy on Brock and Ladd, but there's no third explosive player on that team. Well, I mean, there's Ra, there's Dominic, there's Arian Smith, there's Rosemy Jack Saint. Nobody's stepping up to be that third guy. They're all great. No one's playing it.
Wait a second here.
With the running game that Georgia's got, we need another receiver to step up.
I got a question. I saw something in the chat. Maybe I misread it. I probably did. But Unc, are you saying that you gamble, but you live in Florida? How do you do that? If Trenches can't do it, how the hell can you? How can you? Like, okay, obviously if you got like a bookie, or then I get it. But
where do you see him saying that?
Well, I don't know. He's talking about the spreads and shit. I guess
you don't pay him. He's copying and pasting spreads in the comment chat. That's all he's doing.
Okay.
That is the biggest fact of the day. UGA is white walk on you. Actually, that's not true. Muse is our biggest white walk on right now, and he is not white. All right, game of the week.
He's albino.
Red River.
I love it.
Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is not looking like a pushover.
I'm calling it, guys. The upset. You know what? There's going to be an upset this week, and my upset is Oklahoma wins the Red River rivalry over Texas.
Really?
Yes.
Well, what do y'all think the spread is?
A touchdown.
So you're saying 7 points who?
Texas.
Hoss?
I'll say 10 points, Texas.
Man, Carter's getting 6.5 Texas.
Okay, it's not the same. Before I was going to take credit for that, I already knew that spread because I've already looked at that game quite a bit.
Well, it's
dropped. All these other ones, I don't know, but I definitely knew that one because I've been eyeing that one all week.
I'm still saying Texas has too many offensive weapons. But you got Xavier, you got A.D. Mitchell, you got that badass tight end. I just don't know. We've seen Quinn Ewers step up to the lights this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can do it again. I think they not only win, but I think they cover.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Well, Hoss, you need them to win, right? You need that loss to look better and better and better each week.
You got that right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I get it. I need Auburn to start looking like world beaters, just so we can be like, "Hey, man, they were a good team."
Mm-hmm.
Auburn is. I think Auburn's a team you don't want to play at Jordan Hare. You know.
I think Auburn's a team to where if you realize, hey, that quarterback's going to run, you could beat them probably 50-0. But for some reason, Georgia couldn't figure that shit out and put a spy on anybody. It made no fucking sense. But their defense is a problem. That freaking why are we getting to Auburn again? Auburn's defense looks great. Yeah, that's
Auburn and
all the big
Tennessee have a bye week this week.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I don't think Auburn's playing this week, are they?
No. But man, once again, next week, stacked slate. God dang.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next week. Next week's
Me neither.
as a Georgia fan, this is the bigger week for us because next week's Vandy. But God, as far as matchups next week, good Lord. Missouri, Kentucky, Florida, Syracuse, which Syracuse not really a pushover either. Auburn, LSU, Miami, North Carolina, Arkansas, Bama, Oregon, Washington, Tennessee,
Tech.
A&M, USC, Notre Dame, North Carolina State, and Duke. Like, it is just matchup heaven next week. So, where we're sitting right now, everybody still comfortable with their Heisman picks?
Ooh. I still think he could do it, but he's gonna have to quit struggling against fucking Boston colleges and shit like that.
Yeah. That's right. You took Jordan. I took Quinn, which I think he might have a Heisman moment this week as well. And Haas, who'd you take? Drake?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And North Carolina has who? They got a bye week this week? Or did I just miss them?
I know that they play Miami next week.
Oh, no. They got Syracuse this week.
Syracuse, yeah.
They basically do have a bye week. Anyway.
Syracuse ain't that bad, man.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, anything else before we get off for the night?
Nope.
Wrestle? I mean, no. Cover on. Cover on.
We're not doing that.
Jesus. I'm not going to end it. I'm going to let him end it. Just sit back and relax.
Get ready for some great games coming up.
Yeah. Everybody in the comments, thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Yes.
We love you all. And mean it. Appreciate it. We'll be back maybe Saturday night at the end of the night to go over some of these games that we just previewed. But until next time, cover on.